Begin afresh every morning. Devotional thoughts for women.
Greetings, dear friends. The topic for today, January 6, 2023, is entitled Decisions Based on Fear. The scripture reading is taken from Genesis chapter 19, verse 30. Then Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters were with him, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar, and he and his 2 daughters dwelt in a cave. How many decisions have you made based on your own fears? Personally, I have to admit that most of my poor decisions and wasted opportunities were caused by my fears. God had ordered Lot to flee to the mountains, but Lot asked to be allowed to establish himself a few miles from Sodom, in a little town called Zoar. Soon the corruption in Sodom spread to Zoar, and Lot was forced to flee to the mountains. Had he obeyed from the beginning, he would have avoided so many problems, and he would have prevented the death of his wife. Lot was stripped of his possessions, bereaved of his wife and children, dwelling in caves like the wild bears, covered with infamy in his old age. And he gave to the world not a race of righteous men, but 2 idolatrous nations, at enmity with God and warring upon his people, until their cup of iniquity being full, they were appointed to destruction. How terrible were the results that followed one unwise step. Every decision we make, every action, no matter how small, has a positive or negative outcome. Lot did not obey God fully, and he had to face the consequences, from the loss of his wife to becoming the father of 2 vile, idolatrous, and rebellious nations. The Ammonites and the Moabites, the fruit of an incestuous relationship with his daughters. Lot decided to obey God only partially. But partial obedience is complete disobedience, in spite of his lack of faith. God listened to him and conceded to his desire to go to Zoar instead of fleeing to the mountains to spare his life. Let us be careful of what we ask of God, lest he concede to us something that is not in our best interests. It would be better if each of our petitions is accompanied by according to your will, or, as Queen Esther said, if it pleases the king. Esther chapter 5 verse 4. Let us condition our request to God's will. Lot finally obeyed God and went to the mountains, but his decision was motivated by fear and not by obedience. Today is a good day to base all our decisions on love and voluntary obedience to our beloved God.